Can Aravallis be saved? Have we finally realized the worth of one of the oldest fold mountains in the world? In this session, we will find out. Hello students, welcome to Drishti IAS. Today we are going to talk about a new directive that has been issued by the Centre which aims at protecting the Aravalli range. So let's get started. Now before we do that, let me just quickly tell you that there is this exciting new course for you, which is the Studio GS Foundation live online course. This course is going to help you in your complete UPSC preparation of prelims and mains in rupees 24,999 only. And if in future you wish to join our offline foundation batch, this complete fee is going to be adjusted in the fees of the offline foundation batch. So hurry as the admissions are open. For more information, please call us at 87501 87501, and you can also visit the Drishti Learning website. Now let's get back to our topic. Aravallis have been in news for a while now, and very recently what has happened that the Union Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has issued a directive, and the directive is to impose a complete ban on the grant of new mining leases across the entire Aravalli range. So what has happened is that the Centre has issued this directive that no new mining leases are going to be presented in the entire Aravalli range. So all the states will have to implement it in uniformity. So because the goal over here is to protect the entire Aravalli range as a continuous geological ridge, and to protect it from fragmentation, to basically preserve it in continuity. It has been said that this is a blanket ban which is to be imposed, which is to be followed by all the states wherever we see the presence of Aravalli range. So all the states will have to follow this rule. No new mining leases are going to be presented for the Aravalli range, in the entire Aravalli range. And the aim here is to curb all sorts of illegal and unregulated mining activities, because we know that Aravalli is one of the oldest fold mountains in the world. They serve multiple purposes, and finally we are trying to realize that all these activities, these unregulated activities, illegal mining activities, they are going to have adverse consequences on mankind. If I talk about the uses of Aravalli over here, first and foremost, you know that Aravalli, they are spread across Gujarat, Rajasthan, Haryana and Delhi. So this blanket ban that we are talking about, it is going to be imposed by all these states and UT over here. All basically all will have to follow this rule. Entire Aravalli range is going to be protected, because Aravallis, they serve multiple purposes. Even though they are eroded to a huge extent, they serve multiple purposes. First and foremost, they act as a very important climatic divide, and they curb desertification. Basically, they stop the desert, the Thar desert from expanding to the eastern fertile Indo-Gangetic plains. They stop the expansion of this Thar desert. They help in curbing desertification. This is one of the most important purposes that Aravalli solves over here. Then Aravalli also helps us in maintaining our AQI levels. Now what happens, Aravalli stops all these dusty winds, these stormy winds from entering the adjacent areas, particularly the Delhi NCR area. And if Aravalli is not protective, if Aravalli does not exist, then all these dusty winds and stormy winds are going to enter the Delhi NCR territory and the adjacent territories, and the AQI levels are going to worsen even further. So it helps us in maintaining our AQI, maintaining and curbing the air pollution also. Then it also helps us in groundwater recharge. It helps us in groundwater recharge. It also is a major hub for a lot of biodiversity. So basically many purposes are solved by Aravalli. Aravalli is a very important geological formation for us, and that is why there is a need to protect it. What was the issue basically? The issue here was around the definition definition of hills. Which landforms are going to qualify as hills? So as per the latest definition, it was said that for any landform to qualify as a hill, that landform should be at least 100 meters in height from the ground level or from the adjacent terrain. So not from the sea level, but from the ground level or the adjacent terrain. So that is why, and I told you in the beginning that they have been eroded to a huge extent. So that is why a lot of landforms, they were not able to qualify as hills because of this 100-meter definition. And because of that, at least like approximately 90% of the landform in the Aravalli range will not qualify as hills if this definition is implemented. Right now, this is the definition for hills which is being implemented, and if these hills are not protected, if the landform they do not qualify as hills, they lose that kind of a degree of protection, and then mining activities will be allowed. This was the entire issue. This was the entire problem with the definition, that 90% of the Aravallis were losing their protection. So in order to deal with this, the center has now imposed a blanket ban. A blanket ban. This means that the entire range is being protected. Please note, we are talking about the entire range. We are not talking about isolated hills. So even if a landform does not qualify as a hill because it is below 100 meters in height, even if it does not qualify as a hill, it will still be protected if it lies in the Aravalli range. So this blanket ban is going to protect the entire landscape. It is not talking about protecting hills in isolation, because that was the issue. Right now it is going to protect the entire range. Every landform, irrespective of its height, irrespective of the 100-meter rule, every landform, if it lies in the Aravalli range, it has to be protected. So no new mining leases are going to be granted in the entire Aravalli range. But that does not mean that mining will never happen. So there needs to be ways to for sustainable mining, and for that the ministry has also directed the Indian Council of Forestry Research and Education to identify additional zones, first of all, other than these Aravalli ranges that the center has issued a notice for. Other than that, if there are any other additional zones which the center might have missed, then it is the duty of ICFRE to identify those zones, and then across the entire Aravallis where mining should be completely prohibited. So these are going to be our additional no mining zones. Additional no mining zones. To ensure that the proper safeguard is in place, additional no mining zones can also be notified by ICFRE. Other than that, this is also tasked with preparing a comprehensive science-based management plan for sustainable mining for the entire Aravalli region. So for mining to happen, it should be sustainable. Right now it is not sustainable, and we are still figuring out ways to protect the entire Aravalli range. That is why ICFRE has been tasked with the preparation of a science-based management plan for sustainable mining. And once this happens, then further notifications are going to come in place as to how mining can be done, in what ranges and what hills can it be done. So then we'll talk about that later, but right now the goal is to prepare a management plan for sustainable mining. So in these ways we are going to protect the entire Aravalli range, which is very much needed at this moment. So I told you that the issue was around hills, that certain landform they were not qualifying as hills, but irrespective, even if they do not qualify as hill, they will still be protected if they fall under the Aravalli range, if they lie within the Aravalli range. So this is what the new directive says. And about this entire presentation, we are now going to not issue any new mining leases, and for the existing leases, the state will have to regulate them even more properly, and they'll have to follow, like they'll have to monitor. Only those companies will be able to continue their mining if they are following the entire environmental safeguards. So no new mining leases, and for the existing leases also proper safeguards have to be followed. The states will have to ensure that all these companies are making sure that all the environmental safeguards are in place. Only then they will be able to continue their mining. That was all. Now let us practice a question for prelims. With reference to the recent decision of central government to impose a complete ban on new mining leases in the Aravalli range, consider the following statements. 1. The ban applies uniformly across the entire Aravalli range, irrespective of whether the landform qualifies as a hill under the 100-meter criterion. 2. Existing mining leases in the Aravalli range stand automatically cancelled following the central government's decision. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. both 1 and 2, or D. neither 1 nor 2. Please attempt this question and provide your answers in the comment section. Thank you for watching.
Introducing Drishti IAS Everyday Wear, the casual jacket and the polo neck t-shirt, perfect for everyday and casual wear. Shop now on the Drishti Learning app and Flipkart. Buy link in the description.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.